In Israel, we're so used to seeing Hasidic Jews in the halls of government. Nobody bats an eye. It's just a regular occurrence. In the halls of the U.S. government, it is an anomaly, to say the least. What was it like working as a Hasidic Jew in the highest levels of the U.S. Treasury and the U.S. government, for that matter?
It's very difficult for me to compartmentalize, Mike, and it's also utterly impossible for me to account for how others are feeling about me. What I can say is that every day that I walked into the Treasury complex, which is actually a part of the White House complex, I felt an immense amount of pressure, an immense amount of awe, and I was immensely thankful. There's one thing that you can't take away from me, and that is my outward appearance. I noticeably have a beard and a mustache. I noticeably wear a black hat wherever I go, and my uniform is a black suit, a white shirt, and a tasteful tie. I hope that you feel I'm doing okay today. And so all of that projects something, whether you want to call it Jewish, which I think is the way that it registered with most people at the White House and Treasury, whether you want to call it Orthodox, whether you want to call it Haredi or Hasidic, it's Jewish no matter which way you cut it. And so I knew that I was projecting that, and I felt immense pressure to ensure that my every thought and the way that I was projecting those thoughts, my every word and my every action was in appropriate comportment with the appearance.
China has become a hot potato in the U.S.-Israeli relationship. Israel invested an immense amount of political capital in trying to solicit Chinese infrastructure investment over the last 10, 15 years. It came to fruition, billions and billions of dollars. Now the U.S. is saying, hey, back off. There's too much at stake here. China, you don't want them to have too much of your infrastructure. There's espionage involved. There are other security matters involved. And now there is almost a tit for tat between the U.S. and Israel trying to figure out how to toe that line. In your experience with infrastructure and energy and with China, where do you see this going in terms of how much the U.S. is going to push back against Chinese investment in Israel and in other American allies, specifically in the Gulf?
We were very pleased to see the great developments that Israel was realizing and achieving in this area. And we were pleased that Israel has now started to implement a formal investment screening regime, which is still in development. And the folks at U.S. Treasury that look after this area are actively engaged with partners in Israel to assist in refining the system. So with specific regard to infrastructure, what I was seeing was that the rules were developing along and actually being implemented very nicely.